Now let's learn how to solve quadratic inequalities by using the table of signs. Example 1. These are the steps that I will follow to solve these three inequalities. X squared plus 2x minus 15 less than 0. The first step is to make sure the right hand side is 0. It's already 0, so the first step is satisfied. The next step, make sure a is positive. Our a, which I refer to this, is positive because it's positive 1 here. So 2 is satisfied. The next step, factorize. Ignore the inequality sign. So just factorize by using your calculator or using the quadratic formula. Next, after you have factorized, you draw the number line. For here, just follow the inequality sign. Do not change the inequality sign. Fourth step, draw the number line. Make sure that you know what are the numbers that you have to plot on the number line, which are the x's from the factorization. They are -5 and 3. Draw a number line and plot -5 and 3. Why is it x less than -5 here? Because we are referring to this area, this region. And in the middle, it's going to be x greater than -5 and less than 3, because we are referring to this region. And next, this is x greater than 3 because we are referring to this region. Why we do this is because we want to check what is the value of the numbers here. Is it positive or negative here and here? Next, add the columns. The first column should be your factors. Your first factor is x plus 5 and your next factor is x minus 3. Your final row would be the combination of these factors. You can start by drawing this empty circle here. Why is it empty circle and not dense circle? It's because our inequality sign here does not have an equal sign. So that's why it's just empty circle and not a dense circle. Why do I put the empty circle here and not here? Well, that's because x plus 5, if I substitute in -5, this value, into this x, -5 plus 5, the value will be 0. So this circle shows that the value that makes this factor 0. So it's not at 3. Next, the value that makes x minus 3 factor 0 will be the value 3. So just write your empty circle right here at the value of 3. So just write empty circle there. This helps you a lot in determining the signs after this. Since you want to know at this region of -5, between -5 and 3, what is the sign here? Is it positive or negative? We can just choose any number between them. So let's say we choose number 0, because 0 is between -5 and 3, and that's the simplest number. When you substitute in 0 into this factor, the first factor, 0 plus 5, the value is positive. Next, substitute in 0 as well to the next factor. 0 minus 3 is negative. Since you have these empty circles written there, which gives you the position that makes the factor 0, it makes our life easier by just plotting the same signs on the right side, because logically, if we choose any number greater than 3, let's say 4, it will always be positive, and on this column it will be negative, because when you substitute into any number, let's say -6, it would be -1. And let's say we substitute that -6 into the next factor, -6 minus 3, it will be -9. So write the negative sign here, and then here, let's say we choose 4, 4 minus 3 would be +1. Notice that the sign changes right after it meets with this empty circle for both of the factors. So that's why this empty circle will help us solve our question faster. you just have to substitute into one number right in the middle, and then if it's on the same side of the empty circle, just follow the sign, and if it's the opposite side of the empty circle, then just write a different sign. Okay, so the last row means the first factor times the next factor. So this just means negative times negative. It's going to be positive. Positive times negative, it is negative. Positive times positive is positive. Step 6. Look at the inequality sign at the factorization step. This is our factorization step. Do not look at the first step, even though they have the same inequality sign. Well, that's because if you have multiplied everything with -1 or divide everything with -1, the sign changes, and then it will not be the same as the original question. We'll look at that example after this. So we pick the negative region. The negative region of this factorization, look at the last row, is just here. So that means our final answer is this middle region. The solution is written in solution set, or also can be written in interval form, like this. Example B. First step, make sure right hand side is 0. It is already 0. Make sure A is positive. Our A now is not positive because there's a negative in front of the x squared. If not, you have to multiply with -1 and change signs. So you have to multiply everything with -1. Remember, whenever you multiply everything with -1, you change signs. You change the inequality sign. You change the inequality sign. So from less than 0, less than and equal to 0, will become greater than and equal to 0. Second step is done. Next step, factorize. So just factorize. Just copy the latest inequality sign here, and then draw your number line. Your number line will come from the value of this factorization, which is -1 and 4. -1 is the smallest number, and then 4 is there. To the left of -1 is negative infinity, and to the right of 4 is actually positive infinity. Next, draw your table. Right, so the first row will be the regions. So we have 1, 2, 3 regions here. Draw your inequality signs there. X less than and equal to -1. Here, -1 less than and equal to x, x less than or equal to 4, and here x greater than 4, according to the regions. Why is there an equal sign here, but in the previous question there's no equal sign? Well, this is just to make your life easier to write your final answer. Since we have an equal sign at the question, we just follow that. The first column will be the factors, x minus 4, and then the next factor is just x plus 1, and combine them, x minus 4 times x plus 1. Remember to plot your circles. Since the question has an equal sign for the inequality, that means it's going to be a dense circle. For the first factor, x minus 4, the value that will make it 0 is 4. So at 4, just write the dense circle. Next, at x plus 1, the value that makes it 0 is -1. So write the dense circle there. After that, just choose any number right in the middle. So between -1 and 4, the easiest value is 0. Substitute into this factor. So 0 minus 4 is negative value. 0 plus 1 is positive value. Next, remember what we have found out just now. When the sign that we have found just now is on the same side as the one that we want to find, then it will also be negative. But when the sign that we want to find is separated by the circle, then you have to write the opposite sign. It's positive here. Same for the next factor. Since the sign that we want to find here is not separated by the circle, that means it has the same sign. So it's just positive. And since the sign that we want to find here is separated by this circle, that means it is just the opposite sign, and it's going to be negative. Find answer, you get it by multiplying these two factors. So negative times negative is positive, negative times positive is negative, positive times positive is positive. Sixth step, look at the inequality sign at the factorization step. This is the example where you really have to look at the factorization step instead of the original question. Notice that the original question has a different inequality sign than the factorization step. Well, that's because we have changed the original question by multiplying with -1. Since we have changed the question, the new inequality sign that we want to satisfy is at the factorization step. For this question, it's greater than or equal to 0. That means we have to pick the positive region. The positive region that makes the multiplication of these two factors positive are just these two regions. Just copy down your answer, which is x less than equal to -1 and x greater than and equal to 4. Since they are separated, write union in the middle. You can also write your answer in the form of interval form, which will look like this. Example C. This is quite similar to example B because A is not positive, right? So you can just try it out. Follow the steps, pause the video, and I'll show you the final answer after this. Okay, have you tried it out? Make sure you make A positive, factorize it, draw your table, write your factors, multiply the factors, plot your dense circle, substitute a value, whichever you like to choose. You can choose the middle value or you can choose any other columns. It's just the same. Multiply the signs to get the final row's answers. Pick the negative region because we are looking at the factorization step, not the original inequality sign. The new sign now is less than or equal to 0. So the region that we want to take is the negative region, which is the middle region. And the solution set is like that, or in interval form, like this.